Hello, everybody, and welcome to another live discussion. My name is Roy Nemmer of Mundo Albiceleste.com. Welcome. We are here. We are going to talk about Argentina's 4-1 win versus Guatemala. We are going to take your questions, your comments. We're going to talk about the game. We're going to talk about the Copa America. So let's just get to it. As we always do in these live discussions, we always kick things off. Let us know from where around the world you are watching us from. Let us know, and let's get to it. The chat is very, very lively. Thank you, everybody, for joining us from all around the world. First comment, thank you very much, Mickey D's. Yes, it is my birthday, June 14. Lucky enough to live another year, lucky enough to watch Argentina, lucky enough to watch Lionel Messi on my birthday as well. So thank you for that comment. Rohan saying, Vamos Albiceleste. Absolutely, definitely. As always, Varun, hello from Toronto. Thank you for joining us on this fine Friday evening. John, good morning, and thank you very much, my friend John, a long-time family member of the Mundo Albiceleste family. Janet, all the way from Toronto. And as for Joy, once the legend Sebastian Garcia Seba is unable to make it for tonight, but I'll say it now. I'm going to talk about it a little bit later. Argentina versus Canada. We are going to do a preview. We are going to do a live discussion. He will be there in all likelihood. I'm not going to be alone. And even if I was technically alone, I'm not, because I have everybody here. Let's continue this. Keanu, thank you very much. Benjamin as well. Varun. Rose watching us from California. Thank you for joining us. Mike from Stony Creek, Ontario. My, oh my, we got a lively bunch here. Go Rob from down under, all the way from Australia. Wow. Audio from Laguna Niguel, California. Incredible. Thank you, everybody. I'm trying to keep up with everything here. All the comments. Benjamin from New London, New Hampshire. St. Louis for Waiwang. Wow. Daniel, thank you very much, my friend. Much appreciated. Edwin from the Fiji Islands, thank you as well. Keanu Seba's out of the basement. It's his wife's birthday. He's out celebrating, of course. Totally understandable. Daniel from Malaysia. Suraj from Dallas. Thank you, everybody, for all of this. And let's kick things off. Let me know in the comments, what did you think of the match overall? We're going to get to that, and we're going to kick things off with that. So let us know, what did you think about the match? It was, for those that missed it, you missed a very, very uncharacteristic performance by Argentina, at least for the first 30 odd minutes or so. Guatemala took an early 1-0 lead, an own goal by, initially it appeared to be Nahuel Molina, then ultimately looked to be Lisandro Martinez. Mistakes all over the pitch for Argentina, unable to, really create many chances at one point. They were giving the ball away very, very cheaply, under no pressure whatsoever. So Guatemala got their first goal. Has to be said, Lionel Messi's first goal was a gift, an absolute gift from the goalkeeper. Intercepted the pass, received it, scored the open goal. 1-1 for Argentina, 1-1 so far in the match. And you sensed the tide was maybe a little bit about to turn, and then not really. Emiliano Martinez gave the ball away. Guatemala nearly scored. And at this point, let me know in the chat what you guys are thinking. I was wondering what is going on here. Argentina all over the place. It took them a while to get settled in. And finally, it was the youngster, Valentin. Wow. What a performance by him. Incredible performance. And he won the penalty. Lautaro Martinez took it, a very well-struck penalty, well-placed, low into the bottom corner, struck with venom, the power on that, unstoppable, gave Argentina the 2-1 lead going into halftime, and then that's where things really started to get going in the second half. But let's get to the chat. Janet says, piss poor passing in the first half. That's definitely one way of putting it. Juan, welcome, Juan. Hello. Missed part of the match as I was commentating Boca prior to that. Well, thank you for joining us. If you missed the first half, again, you missed a very uncharacteristic performance by Argentina. Varun, I think being pressed makes them uncomfortable. I don't know if it was the press. It might have been very, very possible. I don't know if it was the press. I don't know if the team was just maybe overly confident, overly relaxed. I don't know what it was, but the start was definitely shaky. Korzeniak from Waterloo, Iowa, in the United States. Welcome, welcome. Uh, Rohan saying Valentin's got to make the squad now. I think he will as well. Rose, happy to see Carboni, Valentin Carboni, but don't see Nicolas Gonzalez, and I believe that's Lo Celso. We're going to talk about some of the players in a little bit. John, let me know in the comments, everybody. Keep your comments coming in. John, a bit sloppy. Performance looked scratchy, but to be fair, to say things improved. Glad this is happening now. Not necessarily a wake-up call, but a good reminder. And I do agree with this very, very much so. I was having almost slight flashbacks to Saudi Arabia, the opening match at the World Cup. So it's good that it's happening now as opposed to the Copa America, because obviously the team has lived through this. They have experienced this. And this is nothing new for the team. Benjamin saying this can only bring Garnacho only for some Mati's teammates to bring it ridiculous, disappointing. We're going to talk about Garnacho because he will be going to the Copa America. Scaloni has said it himself. Alejandro Garnacho, one of the names confirmed. We are going to get to that and so much more in just a little bit. Let's get to the next comment here. Joy, Nicolas Gonzalez not good to start as left back. I think there are moments or maybe even certain matches where Nicolas Gonzalez might be suited as a left back or a left wing back. Tonight was not one of those games, not its best performance. Almost MIA, missing in action for me. But hey, he was played out of position, and there was one opportunity where he almost scored, so credit to him. But I know he's a very, very polarizing figure, and I understand, of course. Edwin, Angel Di Maria is aging like fine wine. He should not leave Argentina now. He's the clutch man along with Messi. Let's get to that second half, and we're going to talk about Di Maria because Di Maria was brought into that second half and completely changed the game around. A ridiculous performance by him off the bench. People might say it's Guatemala. Maybe, it's not a world beat, top 10 or top 20 ranked team or whatever it might be. But the performance that he put in, tremendous. A very, very good performance from him. Changed the game around. Him, Paredes, De Paul coming in. Solid. Big fan of those changes. I was not expecting Di Maria to play. Ultimately, he did. I was expecting Alejandro Garnacho to play. He didn't. And we're going to talk about Garnacho in a little bit. But a very, very good performance overall. Enzo Fernandez plays across into Messi. Messi controls it. Easily could have scored. Squares it to Lautaro Martinez. Martinez scores 3-1 for Argentina. And then Messi to Di Maria. Di Maria holds the ball up, plays a beautiful pass in to Leo, and Messi just kind of dinks it over the goalkeeper to make it 4-1 for Argentina. And it has to be said, again, Di Maria changed the match. He came in and the attack went through him. It wasn't just Messi. There was creativity, there was pace, there was speed. Julian Alvarez got into some very, very good goal-scoring positions as well. I'm very happy, for his cameo performance when he was brought in. Glad that the substitutes made an impact. Let's get to the chat. Let's go back to the chat here. Yes, Juan Garnacho was confirmed as part of the squad. Franklin, not a big fan of Nicolas Gonzalez and Lo Celso. Rohan saying that Nicolas Gonzalez over Garnacho. Sorry, guys, I rate his work rate. As do I. I'm a fan of actually both players for different reasons. Nicolas Gonzalez, tremendous work rate, as mentioned. Garnacho, much more explosive, especially off the bench, but he showed it all or most of the season with Manchester United when he was the starter, how well he can play, and he can score some big goals. So I'm glad that both players will be going to the Copa America because it gives Scaloni a couple of different options off the bench or in terms of starting down that left wing, or even for Garnacho down that right wing. So Argentina have the options. Mixed Memorabilia, hello. Thank you for joining us. Great to catch a live show after a while. Thank you. As always, much appreciated, everybody. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We got a lot of videos, a lot of live discussions coming up throughout the Copa America and then some afterwards. Varun says, as soon as the opponent score, we crumble like a house of cards. And it's a friendly and against Guatemala, so no problem. I tend to kind of disagree. I think, today Argentina did not crumble. They didn't crumble, or they tend not to crumble usually, unless my memory is failing me, when the opposition does score first, which is not too often. It has to be said. It's happened lately, but overall, nothing too crazy. Korzeniec excuse me, saying introducing the subs make the difference, just like the match versus Mexico at the World Cup. It was an instant impact, instant substitutes. The impact, very good. Yeah, I agree. We spoke about this last time. Sebastian Garcia spoke about it last time. There's no reason technically why Di Maria would not be able to play until 2026. Daniel saying DePaul's goal was clearly onside. I would have to watch the replay. I think it was very close. I wouldn't be surprised if DePaul's goal was onside. But to be fair to the goalkeeper as well, he kind of stopped moving once he saw the flag come up very early. But I suppose there was no VAR in the friendly matches. Rohan, big subs will come clutch at the Copa, and we have a great depth and great coaching staff to make these decisions. Edwin, Julian's work rate is unquestionable. Yes, absolutely. Osvaldo said this last time. I said this last time. Sebastian Garcia said it last time. Lautaro and Julian are two different strikers. They'll bring you different things coming off the bench or as starters. And Argentina are lucky to have two world-class, World Cup winning forwards in Julian Alvarez and Lautaro Martinez. Janet saying Messi and chips, a better love story than Twilight. Yeah, no disagreement from me. I'm not going to argue that whatsoever. Adio saying that the second half was so fluid and smooth compared to the first. Definitely big difference night and day. Binura, hello. Thank you for joining us. Love your videos. Thank you. Glad you enjoy the content. Been watching you for around a decade with all the ups and downs. Wow. Regards from Tonga. I hope we win another cup. Vamos Argentina. Thank you, Binura. Absolutely. Thank you for the support. Thank you for joining. Mundo Albiceleste is turning, I guess, 18 years old. 2006 or 2024, if my math does not completely fail me. That is 18 years of Mundo Albiceleste. Mickey D is talking about Leandro Paredes, saying that he needs to start every game. You know what? I think Paredes has more than earned his spot back in the starting 11. I know for some time, especially during and right after the World Cup, Paredes was maybe more of a substitute coming off the bench. I'll tell you what, the last two matches, he's made a case for himself. And if we look at Enzo and Alexis, both of them together today, along with Gio Lo Celso, for whatever reason, did not work out in midfield for Argentina. Paredes, he was stringing passes in from deep, breaking through the lines. I think he is much needed in this team, and I would have no problem starting him in the starting 11, in the starting lineup. Mixed Memorabilia saying, my concern is that Argentina have been the best team in the world for the last 4 years. I understand tuning, but must be full focus as teams like Uruguay, Colombia, and Brazil will be very different now. I think it's going to be a tight Copa America. The matches, I'm not expecting many goals in any one of the matches at the Copa America, but we're going to get to the Copa America in a little bit and in different videos. Of course, George, hello, George from New York City. What a captain we have in Leo Messi, gifting Lautaro 2 raviolis to bring his confidence back. Injects to himself, vamos carajo. Definitely very unselfish. Messi could have taken that penalty, gave it to Lautaro. He scored, and Lautaro spoke about it after the match. He said that he wants to publicly thank Messi for the penalty kick, for allowing him to take it. And he praised Messi, and I think he praised him as we all praise him. So very unselfish by Messi. Lautaro getting 2 goals is big as well. Hopefully, that confidence booster that he, in my opinion, desperately needs when he puts on the Argentina shirt for whatever reason. Not that I was worried about him, but it's always good to see him score. And he is now in the top 10 goal scoring charts of the history of the Argentina national team. Just think about that. And he's still very, very young. Adios saying, I wish we could have seen Garnacho with Messi for a little bit. Same here. I was expecting Garnacho to start, or at the very least, at least come off the bench. Not the case, but he will be going to the Copa America. So that's some consolation for him, a big consolation. Binura, today was a very relaxed game. Players were just having fun. Hopefully they get some game time together and everyone can play at a good intensity at the Copa. And I think that's another thing as well in terms of how the team played in the first half. I think, because the first game of the Copa America versus Canada is on Thursday, we're talking, 5-6 days from now. I think they wanted to just kind of take it easy a little bit, not push too much, but Guatemala, credit to them. They came out to play. There were no pushovers in the first half. They really went for it. Credit to them. And I think Argentina realized that they were not able to play like that. They really had to step up, and they did. They stepped it up very, very high, very well. Keanu says, I prefer Martinez Cuarta as a backup center back over backup as a right back. Stick to Montiel Molina at right back. Yeah, I mean, it's his natural position as a center back. He's played twice now, if I'm not mistaken, as a right back for Argentina. Both of them, if I'm not mistaken, again, have been as substitutes. But he's done well, in my opinion. I think he's done pretty well, especially considering that transition from center back to right back is very, very difficult whenever you're put down on the wings. Evogio, hello. Saying Di Maria will be missed big time. Yes, and we have to enjoy Di Maria at the Copa America. He does change the game. Joy saying, good sign is Lautaro starts to score. We know if he starts, he will score in consecutive matches. Yeah, he has a history. He has a good run of games where he starts to score. Hopefully that is the case. Let's get to this one. And the road goes ever on, asking, what do you think of Enzo's fitness? I mean, the fact that he played a lot in the first match, played a lot in this time, so versus Ecuador, versus Guatemala, it's good to see his fitness back up. I don't know if he's 100% back to fitness, but these two games certainly helped him. I don't know if he's going to be starting versus Canada, especially considering he's just coming back from injury. To play 3 matches in about a week and a half might be a little bit too much. So I would not be totally surprised if he was on the bench versus Canada and maybe have Paredes with De Paul and maybe Alexis McAllister in midfield. But we're going to talk about that when we preview the match versus Canada. Hello, Siobhan, all the way from Miami. Welcome and thank you for joining us. Yes, definitely hit the like button, everybody. Yes, thank you for the support. Janet's saying we're starting to see the Lautaro of Inter. Yes, definitely. And I think it just took that one goal. In terms of the Copa America, I'm not expecting too many goals just because, I don't know, it's the gut feeling, the way maybe some teams are set up. And if I'm not mistaken, after 90 minutes, it goes straight to penalty kicks. So I think some teams might just be a little bit more cagey, a little bit more conservative in their approach. It's just a gut feeling, to be honest. But I could be very, very wrong. Lefty Di Maria going for bicycle kicks. I love that. For those that missed it, Julian went for, he had an effort on goal, which was saved by the goalkeeper. The ball bounced in the air, and Di Maria went for the extravagant bicycle kick, and it just went over the crossbar. But good to see him trying. Master Azar, welcome. What's going on? How are you? Hope you're doing well. Edwin saying, De Paul, Enzo, Alexis starting midfielders, but Paredes has a case to ask Scaloni why isn't he starting. Definitely. Sid says Lautaro needs to repeat his form from Inter Milan, not Inter Miami. Of course, I saw the correction there. But yeah, from Inter. Mixed memorabilia saying Lautaro is very important. Do I think Barco makes it? I don't think Barco makes it. From what's being reported, from what's being hinted, it doesn't look like it. I think, and I spoke about this in a previous video, the fact that Argentina has 3 players that can play as left back, Barco being a 4th, might be a little bit too much for Scaloni. So I do see personally Barco just missing out on the Copa America. MMH saying, I think Scaloni cooking Garnacho, making him the X factor for Copa. He could be that X factor off the bench, the explosiveness, the talent. We've seen what he's done, what he could do with Manchester United. So I'm excited. I'm a Garnacho fan. I'm not gonna hide it. I said it before. I'll say it again. I'm a Garnacho fan. Paulo Miguel, thank you, Paulo Miguel, and thank you for joining us. And yes, here are 2 more wins. All right, let's continue. Edwin, my personal opinion, only Kuti is the only player in the entire Argentina squad that will play every minute in this Copa, provided he's healthy and matches are not tight. I can see that happening. I can see Messi maybe being rested, depending on how some games are going. And I say this very, very carefully, depending on how some games are going. Who knows? Maybe Scaloni does end up resting Messi a little bit here and there. I do see Cuti Romero playing every single minute as long as he is healthy. I do completely agree about that. John saying, if Barco doesn't make it, can we see him at the Olympics? It could be a possibility that we do see Valentin Barco at the Olympics. We're not getting much Olympic news these days, at least for the past week or so. We were getting some while back. With Barco, it's going to depend on Brighton. There are some players that are rumored to be going. Some players are rumored not to be going. I would love to see Valentin Barco at the Olympics. He's a fun player to watch. He really, really is, and I think it could serve him very, very well to be at the Olympics with Argentina. Keanu saying for the Copa America, it will probably be low scoring like in 2021. All of our games were low scoring, other than the match versus Bolivia. Very true. Yes, even versus Ecuador, I believe we scored 2 or 3 goals at most. So yeah. And let's continue here. All right. Left coast lefty. Once we get past the group stage, the starting 11 will be set. We'll see. I feel like we've seen from Scaloni at the Copa America, at the World Cup, he's not afraid to change it around based on the opponent. Versus the Netherlands at the World Cup, Lisandro Martinez came in to play with that back line of 5 or 3, technically depending on how you want to position the players. He's not afraid to change it around. But I do think he has this core set up. Yes, that I Emiliano Martinez, Otamendi, Cuti Romero, I think Tagliafico, De Paul, Messi. That's about 6 players. That's half the team right there that I think will be starting the matches, and the rest, depending on the opponent, we could see some changes. Sky, thank you for joining us. Sky saying Carboni definitely needs to be used as Di Maria super sub. Nicolas Gonzalez has no business staying with the squad. Rough crowd when it comes to Nicolas Gonzalez. Not many are big fans of his tonight. Again, this was not his best performance. I said it earlier. He was almost missing in action, especially in attack. He was deployed as a left back. Didn't have too much to do defensively. It's difficult to judge him because he really was played out of position. But again, I know not many people are fans of his. Ario saying nothing's more beautiful than Leo Fideo combination. Yes, let's continue. All right. What else we got? All right, let's look at this. Keanu saying no path to the final in South America is easy. Those games are so physical and tight. That's the difference. I watched Germany versus Scotland. Take a little minute or so. We'll talk a little bit about that debate between the Euros and the World Cup. But I watched Germany versus Scotland. I don't think Scotland, even though I want them to win, I like them. They don't have the most impressive squad in the world, at least on paper. Germany's playing at home. This was a no contest for me, and I don't think we're really going to see any match at the Copa America where you're going to say, okay, this team is really the overwhelming favorite. Aside from maybe possibly a match, and I say this with all the respect in the world, maybe a match versus Bolivia where you look at the opposition and say, okay, I could see the opposition really kind of running away with this. I don't see that happening too much with the Copa America. I see it happening fairly often in the Euros, but doesn't mean it won't be as fun to watch the Euros. Just, I think South America is a little bit more challenging, in my opinion, just because of the physicality and the players really give it their all. And I love the South American game. So maybe I'm a little bit biased in that regard. Let's continue. Master Azar is asking, do I think Sergio Romero will come back to the national team? Probably not. Unfortunately, I think his time is over. I don't see him being called up, despite being in very good form for Boca. I don't think he's going to be called up. John, no doubt there are plenty of qualities, but we have to admit some players are indispensable. Definitely, Emiliano Martinez in goal, Kuti in defense. We need them to stay at their best. All right, mixed memorabilia. If Messi is rested in some games, then who fills his position? It would have been Dybala. I don't see an obvious 10. Yeah, it depends. It really depends. Julian's played that hybrid role at times for Manchester City. If Messi isn't there, it depends on the kind of formation. If it's a 4-3-3, if it's a 4-4-2. Obviously, Argentina plays differently without Messi than they do with Messi on the pitch. I don't think it would be one person specifically replacing Messi. I think it would be, a couple of people playing different roles, let's say, to cover for him. Yeah, exactly. Copa America matches are going to be a brawl. Let's continue. Hey, Rohan saying Messi versus Suarez in the final would cook. Argentina versus Uruguay. It's happening at the Hard Rock Stadium in Miami as well. Mickey D's, not that it would be easy, but we wouldn't face Uruguay, Brazil, Colombia. I think they're on the opposite end of the bracket. If I'm not mistaken, if Argentina finished first in their group, they completely avoid them up until, I believe, the final, or at the very least, semi-final. I'd have to double check. Let's continue. Willing to look into it. Any updates on Cuti Romero? Nothing so far. I'm guessing we're going to get a lot more information and rumors and reports after the Copa America. But I think for now, a lot of the focus will be on the Copa America and the players. So that was, the performance. We had Lautaro Martinez scoring twice. We had Messi score twice. Funny little statistic. Argentina faced, I mentioned this last time, Argentina faced Guatemala on June 14, 2013. Messi scored 3 goals. Argentina faced Guatemala once more, June 14, 2024. Messi scored twice, could have had a hat-trick easily, in my opinion. He had a couple of chances there, plus the penalty, and that went to Lautaro. But fun little statistic there for that. Let's continue. All right. Mixed memorabilia. There's a strong view that the South American World Cup qualifiers are tougher than the Euros. Sign me up for that opinion because I completely agree. Let's get to this. Best 3 players. Let me know down below in your comments who were your top 3 players for Argentina versus Guatemala. Let me know in the comments. And if you're watching us on repeat on YouTube, thank you for watching us as well. Let me know in the comments. Always fun reading them and interacting with everybody. And hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notifications button. Top 3 players, excluding Messi. We always do this without Messi because Messi is Messi. He's an alien. So we're going to put Messi aside. Your top 3 best players without Lionel Messi, because Messi's always going to be there, in my opinion. Let me know down below in the comments. Srijit saying that without De Paul, we look clueless. That midfield does look a little bit different without Rodrigo De Paul, the heartbeat, the engine of the Argentina midfield. And when he was brought on, again, him and De Paul were brought on, and the team looked different in the second half. Very, very different. Granted, De Paul, Paredes, you had Di Maria that came in, Julian came in as well. A different kind of a forward than Lautaro, but both of them are goal scorers. Let's continue. Kunal saying, I think the match against Canada is going to be a lot tougher than we're thinking, especially given that we were in the mud for 25 minutes versus Guatemala. Hey. All right, now getting to this comment, then we're going to get to the top 3 players for everybody. Sky saying, I did not think Makassar had a particularly good game. He played lots of safe balls and looked a bit more sloppy than usual. Enzo, on the other hand, was way sharper. And I agree with that. Rohan saying Carboni, Paredes, and Fideo. So Valentin Carboni, Leandro Paredes, and Angel Di Maria. I cannot totally disagree with that, to be honest. And same thing for Mickey D's. Same opinion. Masters are slightly different, going with Di Maria Paredes, but instead of Carboni, going with Enzo Fernandez. All right. A little bit different. Sky saying Di Maria, Lautaro Martinez, and Enzo Fernandez. Nice to see Lautaro getting some love as well. He always gives it his all for Argentina and got 2 goals today. So good for him. Always happy for him. Paro Miguel says Valentin Carboni, Paredes, and Fideo. That's another good shout. Second or third person to have those 3 players. Let's continue. And the road goes ever on, stating Messi, of course, definitely man of the match. Then saying Di Maria, Paredes, and Enzo. Enzo getting some love as well. Good to see, especially after injury. Janet saying man of the match is Di Maria. Yeah, it's tough to argue that. I mean, well, we're making a case for a lot of them, and I would not disagree whether it's Di Maria or Carboni or whoever it might be. A lot of good players tonight for Argentina. John saying Lautaro, Enzo, and Alexis McAllister. All right. I was not expecting Alexis in this list, to be very honest, but good to see him getting some love from John. Barun saying Carboni, Enzo, and Di Maria. Another one. Lautaro, Di Maria, Molina. Okay, all right. Molina getting some shouts out there too. The right back started in place of Montiel, but Montiel did come on as a substitute. John is saying Lautaro, Di Maria, and Enzo. All right. Chicago fellow asking if Valentin Barco is going to make the team for the Copa America. In my opinion, probably not. In my opinion, I think he probably gets cut. Don't take my word for it. We're going to know soon enough. Soon enough. This is a good one. MOTM, man of the match other than Messi. That's a good one. From and then the road goes on as well. So, best 3 players, obviously Messi aside, I got to go with Di Maria, definitely. Valentin Carboni for sure. Those 2. As for a third player, I'm tempted to go with, I want to go with Paredes. I think Paredes, when he came on, really helped solidify the midfield, as did De Paul. But I think I'm going to go with Paredes on this one. So obviously Messi, man of the match. Messi aside, I'm going to go with Di Maria. I'm going to go with Paredes. And I'm going to go with Valentin Carboni, who got a lot of love from Lionel Messi after the match. Essentially, Messi saying that Carboni's the present and the future of Argentina, and he spoke about how he had watched him at the under-20s, how he's a different player now. So good for Carboni. I thought he did very well in his debut 2 months ago, back in end of March. And then again tonight, there's a reason why he started. He did very, very well, and I think he secured a spot at the Copa America tonight with his performance. I thought he did very, very well. He was, in my opinion, again, with Messi aside, he was probably the only bright spot for Argentina in that first half in terms of individual performance. I think he was rock solid. Let's continue. Shaquille saying we need some defenders. I think we got some very, very good defenders. I think tonight was just a matter of the players taking it a little bit easy, a little bit relaxed, because the match versus Canada is coming up on Thursday. That's my opinion. That's what I think, anyways. Mixed memorabilia saying that Barco is too raw at the moment, but this experience with the squad will hopefully develop his career the right way. I think so. I think he's very raw. I think the fact that, again, Argentina have 3 other players that can play as left back probably doesn't help him getting into the team right now. But who knows after the Copa America, right? We have the World Cup qualifiers in September. So essentially, you have Copa America in June and July. August, nothing. Then we're back in the qualifiers in September. So Barco doesn't make the team for the Copa America. He has every chance in the world of making it in September. Keanu saying, I love Paredes. I hope he starts shooting from distance again. He has that skill. He really does, and he can unlock defenses. I believe it was versus, I want to say, Indonesia last year, where he scored from outside of the penalty area. I want to say, unless my memory is completely failing me, but please correct me down below. Musabir saying Otamendi or Licha to start. I mean, look, historically with Scaloni, it's Otamendi. If Otamendi starts versus Canada, I have no problem with that. If Lisandro Martinez starts versus Canada, I have no problem with that. but I think Otamendi starts the Copa America opener versus Canada. Hector Rasso, welcome. Hector Rasso saying Lautaro needed those goals. I think he's going to have a big Copa, as do I. I think, and I'm going to go back to what Seba said in the last video when we did this. I think when Argentina are going to need Lautaro, when Argentina are going to need Julian at the Copa America, I think they're going to deliver. I truly think so. Julian came on today, looked very sharp. He had one real shot on goal that was saved and a good save by the goalkeeper. Credit to him. But he was involved. He was making the runs. He was making the passes. He looked sharp. And Lautaro getting the 2 goals as well. That will certainly help him. And I expect a big Copa from both players. Mickey D is asking, Roy, what would be your midfield 3 considering these past performances? I'm going to let the chat respond to this one as well. I'd love to see everybody's opinion about this. For me, I mean, obviously, De Paul is a must. Rodrigo De Paul for sure. I think these 2 games showed that Paredes has to start. So I'm going to go with De Paul. I'm going to go with Paredes. And then maybe Alexis McAllister, just because Enzo's just coming back from injury. Having him play 3 games in a span of 10, 11 days, maybe not the best. Lo Celso didn't particularly have the best of matches versus Uruguay, and I think same tonight. Lo Celso did better off the ball than he did on the ball tonight. But yeah, I think that would be my midfield 3: Paredes, De Paul, and I think Alexis McAllister. Those 3 players for me would be cool. Let's not forget someone like Ezequiel Palacios as well. A very good season with Bayer Leverkusen. Didn't really get a chance in these 2 matches. Came on as a substitute versus Ecuador, but didn't get the chance to show too much. I would have loved to have seen him tonight, but let's not forget about him. Guido Rodriguez as well. In all likelihood, he does make it, but he's a pure defensive midfielder as opposed to maybe a more hybrid one like Paredes. So let's continue. We got all right. Let's do this. We got some spam. All right. Rohan Julian needs a club that gives him the start. He's already won every trophy possible or available, so he shouldn't settle for the bench role. There were a lot of rumors of Julian attracting interest from different clubs, whether it was Atletico Madrid, PSG, or even Chelsea. Who knows what's going to happen with that, if he does end up staying at City or not. Remains to be seen. Absolutely remains to be seen. Mixed memorabilia, let's not forget Angel Correa as well. Do you think he gets a fair chance? I don't think Correa has ever really gotten I say fair, but a good run, let's say, with Argentina. And at his age now and with the younger players coming up, I don't think so. If he does play the Copa America, it's definitely going to be as a substitute, in my opinion. I don't see him starting. Came on as a substitute, if I'm not mistaken, versus Ecuador. Had an okay game, let's say. Nothing too crazy. But yeah, I don't see him really starting. Master Azar saying De Paul, Paredes, McAllister. So agreeing with me on that one in terms of the midfield 3. And let's take a look. And the road goes ever on. Thoughts on Scaloni's setup or Scaloni coaching staff's tactics for the Copa in general? And yes, there are 7 Argentinians. There are. Yeah, I realized that in the World Cup qualifiers when I saw the amount of Argentina flags next to the names of the coaches in South America. Yeah, Argentina is dominating. They really are. And as for the question itself, I mean, tactics, look, it's tournament-wise, Scaloni's gotten the tactics spot on, I think. He adapts to the opponent, and he makes the opponent adapt to Argentina as well, or try to adapt. He knows how to play his style and play the game that he wants to play, no matter the formation, whether it has 3 center backs, whether it has 4 defenders or 5 defenders. And that's not something easy to do, especially at a national team level. It's very, very difficult. So who knows what we're going to get in terms of the Copa America and the tactics, but I think we're going to get more of the same. All right, let's go. Mickey D saying he's going to disagree. All right, fair enough. Mickey D is going with Enzo, De Paul, Paredes. I liked Enzo's crosses today. That's fair. I don't mind saying Enzo either. My only thing was, again, in terms of having him play 3 matches after having just come back from injury might be a little bit too much. But nothing against Enzo as well. If Enzo starts in place of McAllister, so be it. Although I do think McAllister is the most informed Argentine midfielder this season. I'm talking from August to June. But nothing against Enzo as well. Chauvin saying today's game tactics were different. Scaloni's testing things. Yeah, I mean, there was some stuff that he was testing for sure. Absolutely, absolutely. John saying for Correa, it's always been about timing. In another realm, he would have been the man, but in this era, the options are too many. He drops in the pecking order. Yeah, and Correa, when he was really coming up with Argentina, in let's say 2015, 2016, Argentina had Messi, Di Maria, Tevez was coming back into the fold. You had Agüero, you had Higuain. And then at one point, we went through that cycle of different strikers of Dario Benedetto and a couple of others, Lucas Prato as well. So he never really got that chance. And now towards the tail end, let's say maybe of his national team career, you have the likes of a Julian Alvarez, of a Lautaro, of a Garnacho, of a Nicolas Gonzalez, of a Valentin Carboni. So yeah, he kind of got lost a little bit in the team. Mixed memorabilia saying De Paul, Paredes, McAllister, who replaced Lo Celso. It's a tough choice. Yes, same midfield three as me. But yeah, it's I mean, those were the top three. Those were the three midfielders. And let's get to some big news after the match versus Guatemala. Lionel Scaloni has confirmed that Alejandro Garnacho will be going to the Copa America. Personally, I'm glad. I'm very, very happy that he does make it. There were even rumors back in 2022 that he might make the World Cup squad. Ultimately, of course, he didn't. But, I'm glad that he's there. I think he does bring something that not many players, if any, within Argentina do bring right now anyways, and that is just off the bench, that explosiveness, that speed, that quickness. His one-on-one dribbles, and Scaloni spoke about it at a press conference yesterday, where he said, he wants Garnacho to do those one-on-ones more often because, his one-on-ones are kind of a hit or miss, if we're being completely honest. He does not have a 100% success rate at dribbles. No one does, aside from maybe Messi. But, him dribbling, he could get you that penalty. He could get you that foul. Him coming off the bench with the speed against a tired back line, it's very helpful. And I truly think he's probably the fastest player on the team. Even though Molina's pretty fast as well, I think he's probably the fastest player on the Argentina squad. So having him come off the bench is a plus for Argentina. Mixed memorabilia, going back to the midfield a little bit, says this is a great beauty with the midfield. It's the best in the world. De Paul, McAllister, Paredes, Lo Celso, Enzo, just to name a few. It's a solid midfield. It's a World Cup winning midfield. It's a Copa America winning midfield. It's a Finalissima winning midfield. And in my opinion, the best midfield in the world. Going back to Garnacho, Binaru saying, I'd say Garnacho would be a great addition to the team. Very fast, plays in a big team and can handle the pressure. And that's another thing as well. And, I know not every Argentina fan likes Garnacho. I understand that. I get it. But you can't deny the fact that he does play for a very, very big team, one of the biggest teams in the world. He has been a starter for them for much of the season, scored some big goals. And he seems to like the pressure. He doesn't perform a 10 out of 10 in every single match, but he does try. He doesn't shy away from the pressure or shy away from the ball. And, for someone so young at 19, 20 years old, that's something you want as well in a player. You don't want a player that kind of hides and doesn't want the ball. And no, you want him to try and, take over and do that. And that's what he's done a lot of the times for Manchester United this season. So I'm happy. I'm glad that he's on the team. John saying, I recall reading somewhere that Enzo is the Argentinian Toni Kroos. Very intriguing. Yeah, I could see him in that Toni Kroos mold. I could definitely see him in that mold. A very smart player as well. Yeah, Rohan. I mean, I briefly mentioned Guido Rodriguez earlier, but yeah, he's someone else, and he's being linked to Barcelona. Could be joining them after the Copa America. Chauvin saying, I would prefer Garnacho over Nicolas Gonzalez. Depending on the opponent, depending on the match, yeah. And to be honest, today versus Guatemala, that was one of those matches where I would have preferred Garnacho over Nicolas Gonzalez. But I thought we might get that. I thought, okay, Nicolas Gonzalez will play as left back, maybe Garnacho as a left winger. It ended up being more of a 4-4-2. But yes, I personally tonight I would prefer Garnacho over Nicolas Gonzalez. Palacios, another one. Spoke about him in the last video, spoke about him earlier. Undefeated with Bayer Leverkusen to win the Bundesliga, to win the league. He's in very good form. He doesn't even start for Argentina. That's how deep this squad is. And yes, Rohan, we are absolutely gifted in the midfield spots. We're going to wrap things up here. One last question for everybody. Let me know in the comments down below, which 3 players do you think are going to be cut for the Copa America? Which 3 players do you think are going to be cut? Someone mentioned Valentin Barco earlier. I think Barco does get cut, in my opinion. But let me know down below your comments who you think gets cut. And as you guys do that, I'll read through some more comments. Johnson Garnacho could have easily opted to play for another national team. Yes, he could have chosen to play for Spain, but he chose Argentina, and that says a lot about the kid's heart, and we should appreciate him. Let him sue all the way to another trophy. Yeah, why not? Why not? And that's very true. That is very, very true. Garnacho is someone that's born in Spain, born in Madrid, to an Argentinian mother. And it's normal, especially his age, it's normal to be a Madrid fan. It's normal to be a Cristiano Ronaldo fan. It really, really is. Especially considering his age and where he was born, where he grew up. And a lot of people are holding that against Garnacho. But the fact that he chose Argentina, even at youth level, after having played for Spain initially, he still chose Argentina at youth level and with the national team senior level. That does say a lot. And a lot of people kind of don't think about that or mention that. And it's a very good point by John. Keanu saying, can Garnacho be the super sub winger like Di Maria in 2021? Pace and energy off the bench. Will he not get minutes? I don't see why not. I don't see why not. Bring him off the bench if you have to. Start him if you have to. The kid, because he's still so young, maybe he's naive. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't let the pressure get to him, doesn't think about it. And he wants the ball. So, yeah, why not have him be a super sub like Di Maria or maybe even a starter? Who knows? Who knows? Let's take a look at the 3 players that you think will get cut for the Copa America. Barco, Cuarta, and Correa. Martinez Cuarta, I think, does make it. Correa's, I think Correa could get cut. I think it could be Correa, Barco. I think those 2 could definitely get cut. Mickey D's Garnacho's reaction to Barcelona is very Argentine, is all I'm going to say. It was very Argentine. This was a couple of months back, or even beginning of the season or so. Yes. All right. Well, very quickly off topic, Ronaldinho's comments about the current state of Brazil. For those that missed it, very interesting comment, very blunt and truthful and honest by Ronaldinho, saying, he wasn't gonna go watch any of Brazil's matches at the Copa America just because, in short, and I'm paraphrasing, he said, this is not Brazil. It's not the same Brazil as before. There's no heart. They're not fun to watch. It was a very surprising comment. If there's any Brazilian that's allowed to say that, it's definitely Ronaldinho. I don't think anyone could say a single bad word about him, whether you're a Brazilian fan or not. It was a surprising comment. It truly was. And, it's a comment that is true. And maybe Brazil needed to hear this. Maybe this could be a wake-up call for them for later on. Because this Brazil team, I said it before, on paper, and they might go out and win the Copa America. Brazil could literally go on and win the Copa America. On paper, this is the weakest Brazil side I have ever seen. In my opinion. They could always go on and win the Copa America. This is still Brazil, but this is the weakest Brazil side that I could ever remember. So, do I agree with Ronaldinho's comments? Yes. Am I surprised? Yes. Rohan saying he's not wrong. Without Neymar, they have no Samba Soul. And this was something that, and I'll relay this over to Argentina. We'll make the correlation. That comment there about Brazil without Neymar is similar to Messi similar to Argentina without Messi, right? Because a lot of people said, well, Argentina without Messi is nothing, and this and that, and they're not the same. Sure, Argentina without Messi are not the same in the sense of you do lose Messi, and it's the best player in the world, best player ever, in my opinion. But Argentina without Messi are still world beaters. They can still, in my opinion, match up one-on-one versus the best national teams in the world and still win. Brazil cannot say that, even with Neymar, let alone without. And that shows, again, the depth in talent that Argentina has. Argentina could field an 11 that are not going to the Copa America and still win the Copa America. Argentina can field Walter Benitez, Juan Musso as goalkeepers. They could field left backs of Barco who probably won't go, along with Senesi, Nehuén Perez, Medina, Icardi, Dybala up front. Midfield-wise, Varela, Matias Sule, Luca Romero. I'm throwing names, and these are names that could even play up front. And these are names that are not going to the Copa America. And these are names that, if you put them all together, you have a very solid 11, and an 11 that could potentially win the Copa America. So, for those that in the past have said, or even more recently that said Argentina are nothing without Messi, I strongly disagree. Going back to the Copa America a little bit, and we'll wrap things up very, very soon. Uruguay under Bielsa are very dangerous. They are. My opinion, they're super dangerous. They're probably the most dangerous team for Argentina. Colombia as well. They're on good form. We spoke about that in the last video as well. Itchy Feedy Andy. The problem is many of these players have already won everything, so there's lack of motivation. That's why we need freshers like Garnacho and Carboni in the squad with that hunger to win. Yeah, it's always good to inject young blood. And John, yes, in 2007, Brazil had a B team, as you mentioned, even a C team, and they won the Copa America. So never write off Brazil. I'm just saying, in terms of on paper, this is the weakest Brazil side I have ever seen. And the road goes Everon. Brazil's all attack, midfield's mid, fullback's weak. Alfredo, same thing. Keanu, in terms of Argentina, combined 11 probably would have 3 Brazilians, Neymar, Marquinhos, maybe Casemiro, maybe Alisson. That's all. Yeah, no, Argentina have a very, very strong team. But yeah, on that note, the Copa America kicks off on Thursday. We are going to be doing a live discussion after the match versus Canada. That's 100% guaranteed. And we are most likely, going to do a live discussion previewing the match versus Canada on Wednesday. And we might have some videos before that as well. So hit the like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't, because we're going to be doing a lot of live discussions. I'm not going to be alone. We're going to be joined. We're going to have Sebastian Garcia. We're going to have Osvaldo Godoy. We're going to have everybody here as well. It's going to be massive, as they always are, especially for the Copa America. So you don't want to miss it. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notifications button to be first person notified as soon as a new video drops, as soon as we go live with another live discussion. I just want to thank everybody for joining us. This was awesome. So much fun. I love interacting with everybody. If you're watching us live, thank you. If you're watching us on repeat on YouTube, thank you very much. Leave a comment down below. Let us know where you're watching from. Let us know your opinion on the match, your 3 best players. Who do you think gets cut for the Copa America? Anything and everything, leave it in the comments down below. On that note, thank you, everybody. I'm going to go back. I'm going to mention this again. Thank you, everybody, for the birthday wishes. Had a great day, a great birthday. Topped it off with watching Argentina and spending time with everybody here. So thank you very much, everybody. Thank you once more. My name is Roy Nemmer of Mundo Albiceleste.com. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Take care.